Hey there YouTube, welcome back to another black powder update, and I have my second battalion finished. In fact, I actually finished them this morning. I literally had to flock them. So I did that about an hour ago, and this is like the third take of this video. The main reason being that they're just being a little bit too long. I'm going to try and sort of limit the time of my sort of bog standard sort of battalion views, and you know, hopefully that'll entice you to watch the whole video and not just skip through it. So let's get going. So these guys are the 7th Dutch Militia. They are the second of 3 militia units within this particular brigade, and I'm probably going to leave the third one until the end now, and choose one of the other 2 units that are available, just to break up and use a different style of trooper. So let's get into these guys and I'll give you a closer look at them. So like I said, these guys are the 7th Dutch Militia. They're commanded by a Lieutenant Colonel H. Singendonk, and let's give you a closer look at them. They are front rank, all apart from 1. Now the thing about the front rank pack is that they do actually have sort of dedicated flanker figures, and you can see that these guys have the shoulder puffs that I was telling you about, which is the main way of telling the flankers from the normal infantry. Now these particular ones do have sabre briquets, akin to their sort of French service. However, it is also possible for them to be equipped with just the normal British style bayonet too. So these are probably like one of the, I suppose you could say that these guys haven't quite had all their British equipment through yet, so they're still using their sabre briquets. Other than that, they're practically exactly the same as like the normal infantry, but as you can see, they certainly look quite impressive with their orange puffs, orange and blue puffs on their shoulders, and of course their colourful pom-poms on their shakos, which I think there's about sort of, I think the St. Jerome site shows I think 6 or 7 different styles of colour variations on the pom-poms, and I thought, well, I'll try and use like a different style for each of the battalions, and then I'll sort of do the same sort of thing for the other militia units that are within the next division, because there's only, like I say, there's only 3 in this particular, the 2nd Netherlands division. There's only 3 battalions of these chaps. So that is the flankers, the 1st unit of flankers, the 1st company of flankers. Then we have a unit of normal troops. So I actually mixed in this time some grey greatcoats on top of the backpacks. I sort of you know, I went specifically looking to see if these guys, because obviously their equipment was being replaced by the sort of large majority of British equipment. They had their British jackets, their British trousers, their British webbing equipment, and British water bottles, and also the British style shakos, the stovepipe shakos, and of course also with that came the British long coat in grey. Now obviously I've done it so that there's kind of like a mixture, so you can see there's a mixture of greys and khakis throughout the battalion, just to show that there's you know, perhaps they're slowly transitioning across to full British equipment, but not quite everyone's had their full issues yet. So that is the centre 4th company of troops. Then on to the 2nd battalion of flankers. Again, obviously exactly the same as the 1st. There's not much variation of pose in this particular front rank battalion, which is a little bit odd. Normally you get sort of 2 or 3 slight variations on positioning, You know, it could be sort of like a turned head or a slightly different way of holding of marching. But these particular guys are all the same. They're all the same position, whether they're flankers or normal infantry. So that is the flankers unit. Then we have the musicians unit with the drummer, and again 3 normal chaps. I did obviously decide to use the front rank drummer. Sometimes I swap them out, but I thought this guy was in perfectly good pose, and of course he has that same style of drum with the white diagonal stripes as shown on the St. Jerome site. So that is the musician. Then we have the NCO stand, and again we have a similar style in the fact that I used that incorrectly purchased figure to act as the NCO by basically being in a different position. I didn't bother swapping out his bayonet for the end of a Civil Brigade this time, but he has got his sergeant stripes there to differentiate him, and yeah, I think he fits in pretty cool actually. Obviously it's exactly the same as my last battalion, apart from the fact that they were Perrys and not all front rank. So that's the NCO base. Finally, of course, always my favourite stand, the command base. Now straight away you can see that in this particular one we've decided to use a mounted figure. I actually got in a whole bunch of command figures, including the Colonel's pack, so I decided to, rather than make them all sort of all have mounted colonels, I've decided to sort of mix and match, so that there'll be a mixture throughout. They're both divisions of not only units with their colonel on foot, but also units with their colonel mounted too, and I thought that would make a nice little difference. So here we have a Perry's mounted colonel. I give him a chestnut horse, an orange chestnut horse. He's quite a nice figure. He's a little bit on the thin side for a Perry's. Obviously he's the same height as a front rank, but you can see he's a little bit on the thin side. I thought, well, you know, perhaps this officer is kind of like a new, you know, being given command of his battalion afresh, and he's sort of, I think, you know, well, you know, I'm the colonel of the regiment, I deserve to be mounted, where perhaps a colonel of a battalion that's seeing action will think, well, you know, I like the idea of being mounted, but the practicality of it is not too great an idea, by making yourself a target. So yeah, like I say, I thought it would be a really nice change to have the odd unit with a mounted colonel. Now I'm basically going to do this for every unit that I have a spare colonel figure for. Now obviously when you're doing sort of French units, it's a lot easier to do sort of like separate mounted colonels, because of the sort of the way the regiments built up. Because obviously the way that the French do it is that they have their regiment, and then they have their 3 separate battalions, all led by sort of majors, and the colonel you can actually have as a sort of you know, quite easily have as a separate mounted figure, where sort of the British way of doing things, where they just have a single battalion, it's a little bit more difficult to do, to have a separate mounted colonel. So by actually putting him onto the base, I suppose it kind of saves you a figure, because you don't have to put that 4th figure in. And I suppose that's kind of a good thing, because, like I say, you can't actually get proper NCO figures for these guys. So where I'd normally have a high-ranking NCO as the 4th figure, the colonel obviously takes up that spot, and I think it looks pretty cool. Again, we have the junior officer there, and the flag bearer, and we have again a elite miniatures flag with the Perry's flagpole, which I really do like. I actually picked up a few more command squads or command packs, and have acquired another 6 of these banner poles because I really like them. Like I say, I'm going to try and get as many as I possibly can to try and use them for as many battalions as I possibly can, because I really like them. Probably for the French, for the Nassau, I probably use different flagpoles because they have I can actually use tassels for them. So I thought I'd just use like the regular sort of metal banner poles with the stuck-on banner top for the sort of the Nassau. But yeah, for these guys, I think it's I really do like these particular banner poles. So that's the more or less the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. So this is, like I say, the 7th Militia, Dutch Militia, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with them actually. I hope you are too, and I'll catch you all in the next one, which will hopefully be either Dutch Jaeger or Belgian Line. So until then, catch you all later. Bye bye.